Hello, and welcome back to the Glowup Blueprint. It's your host. I'm your girl, Shadanica Williams, aka the Glowup Coach, and I am back with another season of the podcast. And also, I wanted to kind of just jump in and let you guys know exactly what it is I do and what it is exactly that the Glow Up Blueprint stands for and what it is. So I got some notes. Probably going to be a little bit longer episode than normal because I really want to break some things down. So you guys can really understand what it is that I do and who I do it for. So again, my name is Shadanica Williams, and I'm an entrepreneur, certified life and career coach, and a speaker, author, and I am also a podcast host, the Glow Up Blueprint podcast. And also, I am a survivor of childhood abuse, also domestic violence. I am a former child bride, and I basically just have a passion for helping women who have been through those kinds of trials and tribulations to get back on their feet and just have more confidence about looking forward to their future. Okay. And so that is how the Glow Up Blueprint became about. And basically, Glow Up stands for growing and learning our worth unapologetically on purpose. So I created it in the beginning for women who were survivors of domestic violence because that was mainly the people that I coached. But as time went on and people started to get to know me more, they realized, as an entrepreneur, I had a little bit of insight when it comes to starting a business as well. So that's why I also became certified as a career coach. And so I help women create life and business strategies so that they can move forward with confidence to get back on their feet and do what they need to do and be excited about the future, and also help somebody else along the way that's coming up behind them. Because, newsflash, you are the blueprint. If you have survived any type of trial, any type of tribulations, you've overcome any type of obstacle, you have survived what you thought was going to kill you and what other people thought was going to kill you, you are the blueprint. So even though you might be looking at yourself not as a 10, but like maybe a 6 or a 7, let me tell you, there's five, fours, threes, twos, and ones that are coming up behind you that need exactly what you have. They need your story. They need your blueprint. They need your strategy. So keep that in mind when you are working on the things that you're working on, whether it be trying to get out of an abusive relationship or a toxic environment. Keep in mind that you're not only doing this for you. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow for, especially for people who are just in the beginning stages of trying to get back on their feet and getting out of a relationship that's toxic and unhealthy. But think about the people that are coming behind you, especially for the women that have children. Think about them, that they are watching you. So pay attention, to the steps that you're taking. I'm a huge advocate for journaling. I believe in documenting the process so you can help somebody else. So if you're not feeling super confident about what you're doing or the decision that you need to make, just remember there's somebody coming up behind you that needs those strategies, that needs your story. So remember, you are the blueprint. At the end of the day, it's not something that somebody can just crown you with or anything like that. Crown yourself because you already are the blueprint. You're the blueprint for yourself and you're the blueprint for someone that's coming in behind you. So never forget that, okay? Also, remember that what you're going through, I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but what you're going through or what you've already been through was definitely set up for your good, okay? Definitely set up for your good. Everything happens for your good. And I decided to create this program because I was working with women who were actually in transition, coming out of an abusive relationship and trying to figure out, what their next step should be. And automatically, when you're in survivor mode, you are automatically thinking about your next step should be, I got to get it, I got to get it, I got to hurry up and get out of here, I got to figure this out, I got to figure that out. But really, once you take a step back and take a breath, you have to realize that first step is you making the decision to take care of yourself. Self-care is the complete and total foundation of my personal development program. You must take care of yourself first. Think about it. When you get on an airplane, for those of you who've flown before, and if you haven't, just work with me for a second. When you get on an airplane, the flight attendant comes around and she gives instructions about what to do if it, by some freak, accident that the plane should happen to go down or be going to crash. And they drop oxygen masks down. And the first thing they tell you is put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Why? Because you can't help anybody else if you can't breathe. And that's exactly what I tell the women that I coach. If you're going to help somebody, if you are going to step out on faith and try to make this thing called life work and get out of survival mode and go from just surviving to thriving, you have got to take care of yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup. And what I like to do and what I like to help women realize is get your cup full first. Fill your cup first to the point where whenever you do try to give to someone else or whenever you are ready to give to someone else, you feed them from the overflow. And I tell people that all the time. What is in my cup is for me. You can get the overflow. And if it just so happens that I don't have any overflow that day, you just ain't getting it. Simple, point blank, period. And keep in mind, it took a while for me to get to that point. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, oh, I'm the bomb, I'm the best, I got a full cup and I'm just, feeding from the overflow. No, it took years. I'll be honest with you. It took years. Depending on how long you've been in survival mode, it's going to take you just as long, maybe sometimes if not longer, to realize and get out of survival mode. Thankfully, you got your girl right here, and I can help and give you some steps to try to speed up that process. That's mainly what my goal is. I don't want you to stay stuck in survival mode. I want you to get out of survival mode and get to thriving, because there are people out here that need you. There are people out here that do need your overflow. Not only just you, but your family, your friends, and whoever you may be working with. This applies in your life as well as in your business strategies. I coach a lot of women who want to start a business but don't have the mindset to even realize that they can start the business. They just know that they want to start a business, but you cannot skip the process. It is a process. And I know you hear people saying it all the time, like, trust the process, trust the process. You can't skip it. You can't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I want to start a business, and boom, you're in business. No, you have to be in the correct mindset before you can even begin to do anything like as huge as starting a business. Just like when you're ready to say, okay, I'm ready to get my shit together in my life, you have to start with self. And you have to start with your mindset first. And there are 3 components that go along with the Glow Up Blueprint: encouragement, refinement, and improvement. And those 3 words are the definition of the word cultivate. And cultivate just basically means you have to be the head of your own life. God and then you. You have to be the one. You are in control of the things that you do. You are in control of the things that you can accomplish. You are in control of executing the vision that God gave you. Now, what do I mean? Encouragement. You have to learn how to encourage yourself. At the end of the day, I know we have friends, I know we have family, we have therapists, we have all these people that can come into our lives, that can pour into us and give us advice. But what about those of us who don't always have that? And what about those of us who do have that and you still are, feeling down on yourself or having low self-esteem or low confidence? You have to learn how to encourage yourself. And how can you encourage yourself? It starts with transforming the way you speak to and about yourself. Let me back that up. You have to change the narrative, and only you can do that. You have to change the way you speak to and about yourself. People do not realize how much power words have. Words have so much power. When you hear people talking about speaking it into existence, manifesting, and all those things, that's That's it. That's the power. You have to understand that your words have power. So when you're speaking to and about yourself, please be positive, be encouraging, be motivating. All of those things that you are trying, that you give out to your friends and your family when you're encouraging them and you're motivating them and you're trying to inspire them. Start using those same words on yourself. Start using that same advice for yourself. Start taking your own advice. Encourage yourself. And it means getting into the mirror. And I know a lot of people cringe. I cringed when I first realized that that was where it all started. You have to get into the mirror and speak to yourself. The best conversation and the most important confrontation that you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Okay, so you have to learn how to encourage yourself. You have to be mindful of the things that you say to and about yourself, because those things start to manifest in your life. Those things start to come about in your life. Just think about it. Think about a time when you have been down and out, or, just feeling stuck. And all you're saying to yourself is, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. If you keep saying that, then baby, you're going to be stuck. And let's face it, none of us are trees. Okay? Like, you're not stuck. You're not stuck. You can get up and move anytime you want to. So at the end of the day, it comes down to what you believe. Do you believe that you really are stuck? Or are you just not operating in the right mindset to move? Think about that. Are you really stuck? Or are you just not operating in the right mindset that you need in order to move? Okay? So you must learn how to encourage yourself. Y'all gonna hear the pages because I got my notes. And number 2, section 2 is the refinement. Oh yes, honey, it is going to cost you. It is most definitely going to cost you. And I'm not necessarily talking about money. I'm talking about it's going to cost you your bad habits. It's going to cost you friendships. It's going to cost you relationships. In some cases, it even will cost you a job. It's going to cost you your toxic and unhealthy relationships. Please know that. So you're going to have to cut some things away. Refinement basically means to cut away. Think about those of you out there who deal with plants and gardening and things like that. What do you have to do? You always have to tend to the garden. You always have to go out there and pull up the weeds. If you have a plant that has some dead leaves on it, you got to go pull them off, or else it's going to corrupt the whole rest of the plant. It's going to corrupt the whole garden. So you have to pull up the weeds. You have to get rid of the things that are dead. And I know that is startling to some people. It was startling to me when I realized that I had to let some things and some people go. But one thing you have to realize is everybody can't go. Everybody cannot go with you on this journey. It's not meant for everybody to go. You can't sit around with people who are not going in the same direction that you're going in. You can't be surrounding yourself with people who are not on the same level as you. You cannot move forward if you are constantly holding on to the past. So you have got to let go of the things that are weighing you down. Okay, that's all the refinement is. And when you come into the program, you begin to coach with me, we work through those things, and it's one step at a time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. Because just think about it. When you think about your plants on your garden or whatever, you don't always notice that the weeds are there. Sometimes it's, it's a startling thing. You walk up and you're like, oh, what is that? Let me get that out of there. So that's how that situation works. So you have to be mindful of the people and places and things that are around you. You have to be mindful of your environment, and you have to take the steps, and you have to believe enough in yourself to cut those things away. If you want to move forward in confidence and be excited about your future, you have to learn to cut away the things that are holding you down. You have to learn to cut away the things that are corrupting you. You have to learn to cut away the things that are no longer serving you. Those things may have served you in another time while you were still stuck in survival mode and not thinking about thriving. But when you're on the thriving path, when you're on the glow up path, It's all about thriving instead of surviving. And you have to cut those things away. Okay? And section 3 deals with improvement. Okay? Improvement is where you work on growing and becoming better. It's also focusing on valuing your time, the importance of self care, and improving on your current skills as well as learning new ones. Okay, so improvement is basically making good use of. After you get all of this wonderful confidence, after you learn to cut away, after you start to develop new habits, and you start to involve yourself in healthier relationships, you go about the business of making good use of those things. So now you've got these new skills and you start to make good use of those new skills, meaning you start to implement them into your life and you will start to attract the people, the places, and the things that you need in your life in order to begin to thrive. Okay, so that's basically what the glow up is really all about. And there are three keys that you're gonna need to succeed with this. Okay, are we ready? The first one is your faith. Do you have the faith that your dreams are possible? See, all of this begins with asking yourself the tough questions and being bold enough to answer them honestly and truthfully. Like asking yourself, like, where's your faith at right now? You know, sometimes when you're coming out of toxic and unhealthy situations, our faith can be pretty faint. Like you're just barely hanging on by a thread. I remember when I first left my first abusive relationship, I left with nothing but the clothes on my back. And I was 15 years old. So I hadn't really tapped into faith. I mean, I knew to pray, I knew God, but my relationship wasn't completely there because I had been stuck in this toxic environment for so long that I would pray and then I just would leave it, because it's like, okay, I'm praying, but I don't see anything happening. So, okay, these prayers are just going in the wind. Okay. So you have to tap back into your faith and you have to believe that your dreams and your visions are possible. You have to get back into developing that relationship. And I don't know what everybody's, where you are as far as your spirituality goes or religion or whatever, but I believe in God and I believe in cultivating my relationship with him as well. So that's the first place you need to start. You need to start with the foundation. And I did an episode on my podcast about my vision board not working at one point when I was trying to do one. And I heard God specifically tell me, your vision board, you can't manifest these things on your vision board until you get your foundation straight. And unless your foundation is stable and strong, everything's going to fall. Okay, so you have to begin with the foundation. That's all about the blueprint. You have to begin with the foundation and you have to build it on a solid foundation. And my solid foundation is my relationship with God, my creator. I don't go to anybody else when I have questions about me and what's going on the inside of me because they didn't create me. So when I started this journey, I began with going back to the source. I had to tap back into my faith. I had to tap back in with my creator, my manufacturer, the one that created me, the one that knitted me together in my mother's womb. I had to go back there to see, okay, what is it that you would have me do? See, a lot of people get caught up in what's my purpose, what's my purpose, what's my purpose, when I personally believe that we all have the same purpose. We were created by a creator to be creative. We were created by a creator to be creative. Our job, our purpose is to create something in this life that will stand the test of time. Create something that will help and serve others. That's it. What you need to really be asking is, Lord, what would you have me do? What is my assignment? Okay, and I'll talk a little bit more about that on another episode, but right now I'm just giving you the introduction to the glow up so we can kind of lay the foundation and know where we need to start. So we started out with faith, right? That was number 1. Number 2, love. Like, I'm not trying to sound corny, but you got to have some love. That love for yourself. Like, are you able to dig deep and stir up the love that you have buried deep down on the inside of you and shower that love upon yourself? I don't know about you, but a lot of people that I coach and talk to, we get caught up in the people pleasing. Like I call myself a reformed people pleaser because I was always trying to make sure that others were good. I was always trying to make sure that everybody else had their stuff together. Everybody else was encouraged. Everybody else was motivated and inspired. And I didn't save any of that for me. So what does that do? That leaves you stressed out. It leaves you energy depleted. It leaves you tired, just worn out. So step away from that for a second, and the love that you're trying to give out to everybody else, start giving that to yourself. Start loving yourself. Start taking care of self. Okay? And number 3 is commitment. I have a funny story about commitment. One of the many times I tried to return to school, college. I had a public speaking teacher, and she, at the end of the semester, it was Christmas break, she gave each one of us a gift in the class. And it was a while ago, they had this trend that was going around where they had these necklaces that had these circles on them that had inspiring words and inspirational words on them, like courage and faith and things like that. And so she took the time to pick out 3 circles for each one of us and put them on a chain. And each one of those words was something that, she wished for us, or she wanted to impart into us, I should say. And so when she got to me, she gave me my necklace, and the 3 words on my necklace were faith, love, and commitment. And she broke it down to me like this. She said, Shadanica, I gave you these 3 words because these are my prayers for you. And faith was, she had the prayer for me that she prayed that I would continue to walk in my faith and stay in my faith, because a lot of my speeches that I gave in the class were faith centered. They were all centered around my faith. And she was like, I'm just so excited to see someone who gets up and talks about their faith unapologetically. So my prayer for you is that you continue to do so. And then she picked love because of the love that I have for my children. I often spoke about my kids and how much I loved them and cared about them and wanted to succeed for them. And so she had said that her prayer for me was that I would continue to love my children the way that I do, and that hopefully one day I would find someone that loved me and my children just as much, if not more, because I deserved it. And commitment was because she saw how hard I was working to continue my education, and she wanted to pray for me that I continue to stay committed to my education. And I laugh about that sometimes because after that, I didn't return to school, and I laugh because I'm like, Mrs. Brace must have really known something about me at that time, because she must have known that I was really struggling to stay in school at that time. So, commitment comes up because you have to ask yourself the question, can you commit to seeking out and fulfilling your purpose so that in this season and in seasons to come, you can be fruitful? Commitment is very important. If you're not committed, then you're just interested. One of my favorite coaches used to say that in our coaching program all the time, and she would say that, and I just would just hit me, because it's like, commitment is so important. Like, if you're not committed, then you're just interested, and if you're just interested, then you're not going to stick with it. So when I say ask yourself the tough questions, these are the questions that you really need to think about and answer truthfully and honestly, because if you can't be honest with yourself, then you definitely can't be honest with anyone else. So those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Can you be committed? Do you have the faith that your dreams are possible? Do you have the love for yourself? Can you dig deep and shower that love upon yourself? And I know it's not easy, because it can be really uncomfortable. But guess what? All your dreams and all the things that you want in this life are right on the other side of that comfort zone. So you have to step out of that comfort zone. You have to be willing and committed to becoming uncomfortable in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve. You want to get back on your feet. You want to move forward. You want to put the past behind you. You have to be committed. You have to be committed. There's no way around it. And I do what I like to call transformation consultations with my soon to be clients, because I don't really believe in just change. I believe in transformation. Change is temporary. Change can be temporary. You can go back to those old ways and things like that. But transformation is permanent. You can't go back. There is no going back when you transform. And it's a really big step. And it's scary. It's hard. It's not easy. I'm not here to make it seem like you can just snap your fingers and be transformed, because that's not the way it works. It takes work. It takes labor. I often use the pregnancy metaphor a lot, with my clients, because it's like, yes, you feel anxious right now. Yes, you don't know what to do with yourself right now because you're in labor and you're about to give birth to something magnificent. You're about to give birth to something beautiful and wonderful if you just stick with it, if you keep pushing. Okay. And some of you are at the point to where you're ready to push. And some of you are at the point to where you're just kind of having those contractions. You're going through growing. You're having those labor pains. But stick with it, because eventually this beautiful, wonderful thing is going to come. And you're going to be so glad that you stuck with the process. You're going to be so relieved that you stuck with the process. And you're going to be looking forward to what's to come. And it's going to be something wonderful, and it's going to be something great. And this won't be the first time. This is basically preparing you and setting you up for that assignment. It's setting you up for fulfilling that purpose that God has for you. It's setting you up for becoming the woman that God created you to be. It's setting you up for those relationships that are about to come into your life, and that are going to be fruitful relationships. They're going to be beneficial relationships. They're going to be assets and not liabilities. They're going to foster growth. The glow up is about growing and learning our worth unapologetically, on purpose, which means you have to be intentional. We're intentional over here, okay? And typically, when I'm finished with my clients, they're equipped with the confidence you need to make good use of your glow, and to go out and encourage the glow in others. Because think about it, when you accomplish something great and you do something great, you want to share it. And you want to tell other people how you did it. And basically, when you think about coaching, like the big rise in coaching right now, that's basically how this game came about. People were going through things, they were documenting, they were keeping track of the process. And now they're like, whoa, I just accomplished this big thing. I've got the confidence out of this world now. I've built a business. I've built a career. I've gotten my life back on track. Let me help somebody else. That's the way this thing works. That's how all of this works. You learn something, you accomplish something, and then you go out and you teach somebody else. You learn up, you earn up, and then you go teach it. That's how it works. That's the cycle. That's how it works. You'll be more independent, and you can stand on your own and have a clearer direction and be excited about your future. Okay. And who doesn't want that? Especially for my women who are coming out of toxic, abusive, unhealthy relationships. You want to stand on your own, because for so long you've been in a situation where you had somebody in your ear telling you that you could not do it. You could not do it on your own. You could not do it by yourself. Nobody was going to want you. Nobody was going to listen to you. We heard all those things. And just think, when you start to do that work on yourself, when you finally get away and you start to do that work on yourself, nobody can stop you. Obstacles may come, but you'll recognize that when those obstacles come, that's another opportunity. Instead of just looking at it as an obstacle and just sitting down and not doing anything, you will look at that as an opportunity. I believe that what I call obstacles, are OTGs, and those are opportunities to grow. Anytime you're faced with an obstacle, you should get excited, because that's an opportunity to grow. And if you're not growing, what are you doing? If you're not learning, what are you doing? You're just existing. You're not living. And let's face it, for those of us who have been in those abusive relationships and those toxic environments, we know what it's like to just be existing. And we don't want to go back to that. You don't want to be stuck in survival mode. Okay? It's time to start thriving out here. Okay? So, to recap, the Glow Up Blueprint is growing and learning our worth unapologetically on purpose. And it takes three things to get this process going: faith, love, and commitment. And all of those things you need to implement your glow up. Okay? If you're interested in doing a transformation consultation with me, you can go to www.shadonicawilliams.com and book a call, free call, okay? And we can get on the phone and we can discuss it. We can talk about it, figure out where you are in this process and what lane and what directions you need to go in to make the process smoother and to get you on the path to success. And who doesn't want that? Okay? Who doesn't want success? Like, nobody wants to be stuck in this mode where you just feel like you're on the merry-go-round and you're going around and round and round and you're not stopping. You know, you're never coming to an ending point. You're just doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. And we all know what that is. You can look it up if you don't, but I'm pretty sure you know. Okay, so book a call with me. If you're not ready to book a call, you're not sure if you're ready to start the process of transformation, you can log on to www.shadonicawilliams.com and I have a ebook for you. It is the Glow Up Blueprint Self-Care Workbook, and it gives you some tools and some things to think about, and there's some spaces in there for you to fill in your goals for your mind, your spirit, and your body, because let's face it, it takes all of those things. We're not just talking about getting in shape physically, but we need to get in shape mentally and emotionally, okay? So if you're not ready for the transformational consultation, fine, just get on the website, click on the ebook, purchase the ebook, and get to work, okay? Log into my YouTube channel, because this video and this episode will be posted on my YouTube channel, and I look forward to speaking to you again really, really soon. Glad to have you here. Sign up for the email list on the website so you can be notified of events and different things that we have coming up. I'm so excited to be back with you guys, and I can't wait to see what everybody accomplishes. And if you have thoughts or comments or questions, feel free to reach out to me on all of my social media. I'm on Instagram at Glowup Coach. I'm on Facebook at Glowup Coach. I am on YouTube, Shadonica Williams, and just reach out. Let me know where you are in your self-care journey. Let me know if you are ready to start your glow up process. I'm here for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk next time. And remember, it is always a great day to show up and glow up.